Does this sentence sound correct to you? Listen carefully. If it will rain tomorrow, I will stay home. I will say it one more time. If it will rain tomorrow, I will stay home. If you said yes, if you thought that sentence sounded perfect, then you are making the number one mistake that English learners make with conditional grammar. You might know the rules for unreal situations, like if I won the lottery, but today we need to fix how you talk about real future plans before this tiny mistake ruins your fluency.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Everyday English podcast. My name is Mark, and I am joined, as always, by the wonderful Sarah. How are you doing today, Sarah?
I am doing fantastic, Mark, and I am really excited about this episode. You know, we often talk about very complex grammar or advanced vocabulary, but sometimes it is the simple things that trip people up. Today, we are talking about the first conditional, but more specifically, we are talking about the future tense trap.
That sounds intense. The future tense trap. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, it is something I hear my students say almost every single day. They want to talk about the future. They want to make a plan. So in their heads, they think, I am talking about tomorrow, so I need to use the word will. They take their native language, they translate it directly into English, and they end up saying things like, if I will go to the party, I will see you.
Ah, I see. And to a native speaker, that sounds very clunky, doesn't it? It sounds unnatural.
It does. It is an immediate signal that English is not your first language. But the good news is that it is incredibly easy to fix. Once you understand the logic behind it, you will never make this mistake again. So, Mark, are you ready to help me fix this problem for our listeners?
I am absolutely ready. If we explain this clearly, our listeners will understand it perfectly.
Exactly. Did you hear what Mark just said? He used the grammar correctly. He said, if we explain this clearly. He did not say, if we will explain this clearly. He used the present tense, and that is the secret we are going to explore today.
So, let's break this down. We are talking about the first conditional. This is the grammar we use for real possibilities in the future, things that could actually happen.
Right. This is different from the second conditional, which is for dreams or fantasies, like if I were a bird. We are not talking about birds today. We are talking about real life. We are talking about plans. We are talking about consequences. The structure of a first conditional sentence has two parts. We have the if clause, which is the condition, and we have the result clause, which is what happens next.
Okay, so let's look at the result part first, because that is usually the easy part. If I am talking about the future result, what tense do I use?
For the result, you use will. For example, I will stay home, or she will be happy, or we will miss the bus. That part is simple. You are predicting the future, so you use the future tense.
That makes sense, but the confusion happens in the first part, the if part.
Exactly. Here is the golden rule of English conditionals. You almost never put the word will immediately after the word if. I call this the one will rule. English is a very efficient language. We do not like to repeat ourselves if we don't have to. If you have will in the result part, you do not need it in the condition part. We already know we are talking about the future.
So even though we are talking about tomorrow, or next week, or next year, we use the present tense in the if clause?
That is exactly right. It feels strange at first. Your brain wants to say future, but your mouth must say present. Let's look at an example. Imagine you want to go to the beach tomorrow, but you are worried about the weather. Mark, how would you say that?
Well, I would say, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home.
Perfect. Let's look closely at that sentence. If it rains. Rains is present simple. It is the same verb form you would use to say, it rains every day in London. But in this sentence, because of the word if, it functions as a future condition. If it rains tomorrow. Notice that Mark did not say, if it will rain.
I think this is where the translation problem comes in. In many languages, like Spanish or French or Italian, you actually do use a future tense in that position. So when you translate word for word, you bring that grammar into English.
Yes, and that is why we have to stop translating and start thinking in English patterns. Think of the word if as a time machine. The word if already takes your brain to the future. You do not need the word will to do it again. The word if does the heavy lifting for you.
I love that analogy. If is the time machine. So let's practice this a little bit. I am going to give you a situation, Sarah, and I want you to turn it into a correct first conditional sentence. And listeners, I want you to try to think of the answer before Sarah says it.
Okay, hit me with the situation.
Imagine you have a test on Friday. You want to study hard. What is the result if you study hard?
Okay, listeners, think about it. If I study hard, I will pass the test.
Correct. You used study, present tense. You did not say, if I will study. Okay, let's try another one. Imagine you are running late for the bus. If you do not hurry, what happens?
If I do not hurry, I will miss the bus.
Excellent. Again, do not hurry is present simple negative. It is not will not hurry.
And this applies to the verb to be as well, right? This is a common one. People say, if it will be sunny, but that is wrong.
Right. The present tense of to be is or are or am. So you would say, if it is sunny tomorrow, we will go to the beach.
Precisely. If it is sunny, not if it will be sunny. This sounds so much more natural. It flows better. It makes you sound confident. When you put will in the if clause, it sounds hesitant, like you are stumbling over the timeline of the sentence.
Now, Sarah, before we move on to our story section, I want to ask about another word that often behaves like if. What about the word when?
Oh, this is such a good point. This rule, the no future in the condition rule, also applies to time clauses. Words like when, as soon as, before, and after. They follow the exact same pattern.
So if I am talking about arriving home tonight, I shouldn't say, when I will get home, I will call you.
No, definitely not. That hurts my ears. You should say, when I get home. Use the present simple after when, just like you use it after if.
That is a really powerful tip, because you can fix two types of grammar mistakes with just one rule. If or when plus present tense equals future meaning.
Exactly. Now, to really help this sink in, Mark and I have prepared a conversation for you. We are going to pretend we are planning a weekend trip. This is a very common situation where you need to use conditionals, because plans depend on other things. Plans are uncertain.
Right. We are going to talk about renting a car, booking a hotel, and maybe going hiking. I want you to listen specifically for the word if. Every time you hear if, listen to the verb that comes next. Is it present or is it future?
Okay, are you ready, Mark? Let's get into character. We are planning our trip to the mountains.
I am ready. Let's do it. So, Mark, have you looked at the weather forecast for this weekend? I really want to go hiking, but I am a bit worried about the rain.
I checked it this morning. It looks okay, but it is changeable. If it rains on Saturday, we can just visit the local museum instead.
That is a good backup plan. But what about the car? We haven't booked it yet. If we don't book it today, the prices will probably go up.
You are right. I can do that tonight. But there's another issue. If the traffic is bad on Friday afternoon, it will take us 4 hours to get there. Maybe we should leave early.
I can't leave before 5 because of work. Tell you what, if I finish my report early, I will text you and maybe we can leave at 4.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. And what about food? If we arrive late, the restaurants will be closed.
Good point. If we cook at the Airbnb, we will save money anyway. I will buy some groceries before you pick me up.
Perfect. Oh, one more thing. If Mark, the other Mark, our friend, wants to come, is there enough room in the car?
Yes, it is a 4-seater. If he decides to come, he will just have to sit in the back with the bags.
Great. I will call him later. If he doesn't answer, I will just assume he isn't coming.
Sounds sorted. I'm looking forward to it.
And scene. Okay, that was a very dense conversation. There were so many conditionals in there.
There were. Did you catch them all? Let's go back through a few of those examples and analyze why we used the grammar we used. One of the first things Mark said was about the rain. He said, if it rains on Saturday, we can visit the museum.
Right. If it rains. Present simple. Now, notice in the second part of that sentence, I didn't use will. I used can. I said we can visit.
That is a great observation. The result clause doesn't always have to be will. It can be can, might, should, or going to. But the rule for the if clause stays the same. The if clause must be present simple. Mark didn't say, if it will rain. He said, if it rains.
Then you talked about the car rental. You said, if we don't book it today, the prices will go up.
Yes, if we don't book. That is the negative form of the present simple. Don't book. I didn't say, if we won't book. That would be incorrect. If we don't book it today, the prices will go up.
Then we talked about the traffic. I said, if the traffic is bad. Again, using the verb to be in the present tense. Is, not will be.
And then I made a promise. I said, if I finish my report early, I will text you. This is a very common way to use conditionals for making promises or offers. If I finish. Simple, clean, present tense.
We also had a question in there. I asked, if Mark wants to come, is there enough room? Mark wants, third person singular, so we add the S. Mark wants, not Mark will want.
Exactly. You can see how natural this feels when you get into the rhythm of it. It is just present tense, present tense, present tense. The if word does all the magic of pointing to the future.
Now, Sarah, I think it would be really valuable for our listeners to practice this with their own mouths, because understanding it is one thing, but saying it automatically when you are stressed or in a hurry is different.
I agree completely. We are going to do a little shadowing workout. We call it shadowing because you are going to repeat after us, like a shadow. We will say a sentence correctly, and then we will pause. In that pause, I want you to say the sentence out loud, not in your head, out loud. You need to train your tongue muscles to reject the word will after if.
Okay, I will start. We will keep these simple. Listen and repeat. If I go to the store, I will buy milk. Go ahead, say it. If I go to the store, I will buy milk.
Okay, next one. If she calls me, I will be happy.
Did you say calls? If she calls me. Good. Next one. If we don't leave now, we will be late. Make sure you are using the contraction don't. If we don't leave now. Okay, let's try a when sentence just to mix it up. When I see him, I will tell him.
One more. Let's do one with the verb to be. If it is cold, I will wear a jacket.
Great job. If you did those out loud, you are already building the neural pathways to make this automatic. But Sarah, we have been saying never use will after if. Is that 100% true? Because English always has exceptions, doesn't it?
It does, and I am glad you brought this up. There is one specific situation where you can use will after if, but it does not mean future. It means willingness.
Right. This is a bit more advanced, but it is good to know so you don't get confused if you hear it in a movie or read it in a book.
Exactly. The word will historically comes from a verb meaning to want or to be willing. So if you say to someone, if you will wait here, the doctor will see you shortly, you are not talking about the future time of waiting. You are saying, if you are willing to wait here, or if you agree to wait here.
Yes, it is very polite. It is like a formal request. If you will just sign this document, it means if you are willing to sign this document.
So that is the only exception. If you are describing a future event like rain or arriving or finishing work, you cannot use will. But if you are asking someone to be polite or willing to do something, you can use it.
But honestly, for 99% of daily conversations, just stick to the main rule. No will after if.
That is safe advice. If you stick to the main rule, you will always be understood and you will sound correct.
So let's recap what we have learned today. The mistake is using will twice in a conditional sentence. The fix is to use the present simple tense in the if clause.
If it rains, not if it will rain. If I go, not if I will go. If they are, not if they will be.
It really is that simple. But simple doesn't always mean easy. You have to fight the habit of translating from your own language. You have to trust that the English grammar works.
And the best way to fight that habit is practice. We want you to use this. Don't just listen to this podcast and forget it. We want you to actively use it today.
That brings us to our challenge for this episode. I want you to leave a comment under this video. I want you to write 3 sentences about your plans for next weekend. But there is a catch. You must use if in every sentence.
For example, you could write, if the weather is nice, I will go to the park. Or, if I feel tired, I will sleep in.
Or, if my friends are free, we will go for pizza. Write 3 unique sentences in the comments. Mark and I will be reading them, and we will correct you if we see a will where it doesn't belong.
It is a great way to get some feedback and verify that you have really mastered this concept. And while you are down there in the comments, if you found this explanation helpful, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Yes, subscribing helps us create more of these lessons for you. We are building a library of these deep dive explanations to help you live your life in English. If you subscribe, you won't miss the next episode, which might answer the very question you have been struggling with.
Also, try to use this in your head throughout the day. As you are walking around, narrate your life. If the light turns green, I will cross the street. If I get hungry, I will buy a sandwich.
Narrating your life is such a powerful tool. It takes the pressure off. You aren't talking to anyone, so you can't make a mistake in front of anyone. It is just you and the grammar.
And remember, mistakes are how we learn. If you catch yourself saying, if I will go, don't panic. Just stop, correct yourself, and say, if I go. Every time you self-correct, you get stronger.
Absolutely. Fluency is not about being perfect. It is about being able to communicate and correct yourself when you slip up. We hope this episode has cleared up the future tense trap for you. It is a small change, removing one little word, but it makes a huge difference in how you sound.
It really does. Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday English podcast. We love helping you improve, and we can't wait to see your sentences in the comments.
If you practice this week, you will see a big improvement. See what I did there? If you practice. Present tense.
I saw it. Very smooth.
Thanks, Mark. And thank you to everyone listening. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.